Bitwise recently returned to the news after its former CEOs pleaded guilty to fraud and conspiracy last week. On this Wired Wednesday, GVWire.com reporter Anthony Haddad, who previously worked for Bitwise and was among the 900 employees who lost their jobs, joins us now to share his story. Anthony, thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
So the speculation in the community about the Bitwise unique culture, gosh, it really sounded like just a very romanticized, fantastic place to work, a real jewel in the crown of Fresno. And then the fall. Were you surprised after everything started to come out about the company's demise? Had you been hearing things?
Yeah, so like you were saying about the culture, it was truly like a Disneyland that came to Fresno. We were excited to go to work every day. We had pets running around, even to the extent that we had a pig. It bit me, but I mean, it was worth it. Okay. Her name's Daisy. But the culture was amazing. We would get free massages, free food. It really did seem like a huge tech company came to Fresno. It felt like a dream job, but at the same time, it seemed like something was always a little off. We started noticing that our Amex cards were getting declined, which we kind of chopped that up to maybe the accounts payable department was a little late. They might have had a long weekend. Or our checks started becoming paper checks instead of direct deposit. So we started seeing the writing on the walls, but we decided to kind of live in a blissful ignorance about it. Then when GVWire actually broke the story, talking about how the founders were not paying taxes on our buildings, how the paper checks was actually a huge payroll issue. We didn't believe it at first. We were hoping that our leaders were choosing the best decisions for us. And then we come to find out it was actually a huge fraudulent scheme. Us as Bitwisers, we were actually getting most of our information from GVWire. We were getting counter emails from our CEO saying, oh no, our finances are fine, everything is okay. So we were learning quickly that the reporters at GVWire had more of the story than our CEOs were going to give us.
What did you do there, by the way?
I was the global marketing manager.
What does that mean?
I would work on a bunch of random projects. We actually did a recent rebrand before the close of Bitwise Industries, supporting our amazing PR team that we had there. And pretty much what I would call myself was a personality hire, but I promise I did a lot of good work. But we had a huge marketing team, 60 people, from online marketing to web development to our media production team, which I gave them so much work, and I apologize.
Why do you apologize? What do you mean?
Oh, I would just run into their office and be like, hey, you have to push all your projects aside. We need this right now.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was the global marketing manager at that time.
When you were laid off, what was that day like?
So it was Memorial Day. We all were, I was at home, but we were all on vacation that day. My roommate, which I got a job at Bitwise, he moved into a new house I just got right before that. So there was a lot of excitement. And so I was there getting my house set up. We were sent an email and were given 8 minutes to run onto a call where we were told this sucks and we're getting furloughed. Our checks would not cash. It was devastating. We had this kind of dream job, this Disneyland, that was ripped away from us almost immediately. And I'm one of the lucky ones. I saw people lose their houses, their marriages dissolved, their cars are lost. People's lives were ruined by this. They were expecting this money. And a lot of the individuals that Bitwise hired were people that may have not been able to get a tech job in Silicon Valley. They really worked on individuals to build up their resume and build up their skills. And so just kind of dropping them off as well is sad because they're expecting a certain salary that they might not get in Fresno because the Bitwise salaries were quite high for a lot of people as well.
So when you recently heard of the apology from the former CEOs after the indictment, what did you think? Was it
Mixed
empty?
emotions. I am glad to see an apology, if at all. Sadly, it came way too late. When we were furloughed on that call, we never received a sorry. We were never told, I'm sorry that this is happening. It's not like we wanted them to, at that time we really didn't know what was happening, but it's not like we wanted them to plead guilty on that call with us. But what we wanted them to do is apologize that we're all going through this. We didn't receive that. So I find it far too late. Within that apology, it also seemed as if they were trying to get that community support that they once had, saying, oh, we're going to serve prison time and woe is me. And so that was a little disheartening. And for a lot of us Bitwisers, it opened up wounds. We were already watching the trial happen. We were already reading about what the plea is when they're having sentencing, all that. Opening it up, especially on social media where employees still follow those accounts that laid dormant since the furlough, really opened a lot of those wounds.
Yeah.
I hope they're genuine, but after all the deception, it's hard to say.
Well, we really appreciate you sharing, and I'm glad that you are now gainfully employed.
Yes.
He now works for gvwire.com, and less time at the gym now because you're full-time working.
Yes.
But thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate, and your work at GV Wire. Thanks,
Thank you.
Anthony. Great day. We'll be right back.